based on obviously Tom and Alistair, who I've been working with very closely. Fantastic. In fact, I'd say I've worked with the Academy since the start. I helped set up the Academy. So I've seen the Academy set up in the dev, test, PM, BA. I've seen them all been set up. I'd say that Tom and Alistair are two of the best recruits for the Academy that I've seen since the start, without a doubt.
My name's Johnny Hiles. I am Talent Acquisition Lead for Answer Digital, so I'm responsible for all of our recruiting across the business. We are an employee-owned tech consultancy. We're based in Leeds. We've got about 120 or so people, and we cover everything across kind of digital and tech transformation.
My name's Richard Walker. I am the QA capability lead at Answer Digital. I've worked at Answer for 25 years, believe it or not. And when I arrived, there was 6 people in the company, so I've seen the company grow from that to what it is today, of 100 people. The main part of Answer has always been twofold. One is we will come in and help you with your IT and your business, but also make sure that you are self-sufficient. So we also do a knowledge transfer and training, and making sure that we don't just walk away. When we do walk away, if we do, they are self-sufficient and they have the knowledge in the products that we've built. Testing and QA was something historically that Answer didn't recruit for. So I thought that we should take that in-house rather than just use contractors and actually get customers to do testing. We decided to take testing very seriously. So we started a test capability around, I think about 6-7 years ago now.
I've worked with Northcoders both in this role and the previous role. In the last organisation, we had a really well-defined graduate scheme where they'd engage with universities and take people on, and then we brought Northcoders in who were this really cool new shiny thing, and it was really interesting to see comparatively how well the Northcoders cohort did. When we hired them, they had a lot of experience, so I've worked with them and been aware with them for probably about 6-7 years now. We've currently got one Northcoder in our test team who's come successfully through the Academy, Tom, and he's doing great. He's worked on a couple of high-profile projects. He's doing test automation, and he's really done well.
Where the Northcoders prepares you for roles in tech is by teaching you how to learn code, not so much teaching you everything you ever need to know in a role. Because I think with software, you don't know everything. It's impossible to know everything. And the nature of the bootcamp, the speed of it and the range of things they teach you kind of meant that you have to learn how to pick things up quickly. So even though I'm working in a completely different programming language to what I did on the bootcamp now, I was able to pick those up because of the way that Northcoders teaches you to learn code.
The Northcoders that have joined our business have gone on and had multiple promotions and really good careers, and I think from a recruitment perspective, one of the things I found really fascinating is just how diverse the people are that kind of we've recruited from Northcoders. They've had varying backgrounds and experiences and different ways into tech, whereas I often feel like potentially with the more traditional entry routes into technology, they can be quite restrictive and narrowing. So I think it's my job to help make our workforce as inclusive and diverse as possible. Northcoders have definitely helped with that.
I work very closely with 2 of them, one who's in the test team and one of the data engineers, Alistair, and they're both absolutely excellent. Going back to the recruitment, I think the big advantage that they both have, they came with some good skills, some good technical skills. They knew what testing was in terms of Tom. He knew what test automation was. So they already had that foundation of learning, which sometimes you don't get from people who are fresh out of university. Some of the university courses are very broad and very sort of high level, and most actually graduates who come out of IT courses don't know about testing because they don't teach testing. So seeing someone like Tom arrive, it was great. Really good to see somebody who's got that foundation knowledge who could join the Academy and really run with the Academy at a quick rate. Yeah.
I don't necessarily think we had any doubts with hiring people without any degree. I think one of the really interesting things is how focused a lot of the material is within the Northcoders bootcamp. So obviously when you're going to go to university, you study computer science and it's such a broad degree, whereas to have someone apply for a data engineering role who has done a data bootcamp, the technology and the tools and the skills they've learned are much more relevant and focused. So I think before you kind of engage with Northcoders, you potentially might have some reservations, but I think actually when you engage and realise how great the people are, they get washed away very quickly. Northcoders do a brilliant job of preparing people for roles here. I think one of the things I found really interesting was just how much work the partnership consultants do, not necessarily on kind of recruiting and finding roles, but even after that. So we've had relationships with them throughout the year where they'll find out about the projects we're working on, the technology we're using, and there's a real reciprocal relationship where they want to find out the work we're doing to make sure the people they bring on board are, as incredibly prepared as possible. We've had an incredibly positive experience with Northcoders, and I think it's a relationship we're still keen to work with and engage with. I think certainly for the more challenging roles in our business, outside of software engineering where you have kind of data engineering, our automation test academy, I think those roles that require really deep learning of very specific technologies, I think Northcoders have helped us an incredible amount with those. So yeah, I think there's an interesting fact where over 3/4 of our academy hiring the last 2 years has come from Northcoders, and I think it's something we continue to work with.